Hi, welcome to Rad Mom. Thanks for joining us. Today we're going to talk about the crazy world of inpatient psychiatric hospitals and more specifically therapeutic boarding schools, which is quite a bit different than a psychiatric hospital. But what do we do when our kids need longer term care than insurance is going to provide? What are we looking at? Where do we go? So my son had been in and out of some psychiatric hospitals, actually managed to get himself kicked out of a couple, which is, pretty creative and amazing. Some specifically for kids with reactive attachment disorder, he had managed to get himself kicked out of. And even sent home when he was still considered a threat to me, he had managed to get himself sent home. And so, that's one thing, and it's scary and it's amazing in just a flabbergasted kind of way. But I've got a child at home, and as a mom, you're thinking, gosh, what do I do to protect my child? There's only so many locks you can buy for your bedroom door, and so many things you can do, but you've got to protect your other child. And so, what do you look at next? What do you do? And so there comes a point in time when you start to look for long-term care solutions. As a single mom, how do you pay for that? Even if you have two incomes coming into your house, how do you pay for it? I mean, it's insane. I mean, the place that is, like, in my opinion, the dream place that I would love to have sent my child. I mean, the place I really, really wanted to go, I think it was $11,400 a month, or maybe it was $11,800 a month. Doesn't matter because I can't afford it. And my son has state insurance. He was approved for disability. People talk about how hard it is to get disability. My son was approved for disability in less than 30 days. I don't get any money for it. I did get one check in the first 30 days. He was approved. I got a check in the mail. And then hardly any time later, they said, we determined you make too much money. We're not sending you any more money. But he was approved, and my son does get the state insurance and things like that, which is great. That is truly, truly wonderful. But nevertheless, it's insane. But the insurance is still not going to pay for the kind of care that he really, really needs, which is this, a therapeutic setting, long term. Because it's not safe for him to be in my house, and I, as a single person, or even if I had a spouse, two people could not take care of the kind of needs that a kid with reactive attachment disorder has. It's not possible. And so you start looking for facilities, and where are you going to go? And so therapeutic boarding school became the option that I started looking for. And I'm going to post a link in the comments section for what is, the link is going to be called like Christian boarding schools or something like that. I am a Christian, and so this was a reasonable option for me. Some people might be saying, I'm not really interested in a Christian boarding school. Okay, fair enough. One thing that I might encourage you to reconsider, if you're not, completely opposed to Christianity, is that thing that's really great about the Christian boarding school option is that if you look into the Christian aspect of things, whatever church is supporting that boarding school is likely subsidizing the cost. Because, like I said, where the one place that I really wanted to send him, the place that was most appealing to me, $11,000+ a month, the church or whatever organization is supporting these Christian places is really backing these other places financially. So where my son is currently is $2,500 a month. I can't afford $2,500 a month either, but it's a lot easier pill to swallow than $11,000+. And so when I post this link, it's going to be a lot easier for you to find support and help for $2,500 than it is for $11,000. So that's one reason why you might want to look into faith-based organizations. Maybe there's some other ones out there besides Christianity. Here in America, definitely you're going to find more in the realm of Christian than you are in some other denomination. Maybe you could find something in the Jewish realm. I don't know. I haven't looked. But I'll post the one for the Christian one. Maybe you could find something somewhere else. But that's what I have experience with. I do happen to know some things about some of the ones on the list. If you want to know something about the ones I do know about, shoot me a comment and I'll try to let you know. I have some personal notes about a few of them just because I've looked. But anyway, back to the story of what happened with us, with the one that Noah went to first, not the one he's at right now, but the one he went to first was in Alabama, specifically for boys only. Out in the middle of nowhere in Alabama. They, first of all, it was run by a family. I would call that a red flag. I really would. If you've got a place that does not have much of a staff, I think that should be a red flag because you don't have checks and balances. You don't have outsiders looking in to see what's going on. I think that's probably not a good idea. In hindsight, especially, I think that's not a good idea. They used corporal punishment. I did know this in advance. I did sign something in advance. I figured, what does it matter? My kid doesn't feel pain the way other people do anyway. And my son really wasn't bothered by this. I did know about him getting a spanking there. But what I found out after he got kicked out is apparently he was getting spanked daily. That I did not know about. I did confirm it, and yes, he was. Didn't know. I had no idea that was going on while he was there. But the biggest thing that was going on that I did have some knowledge of, did not have any clue of the extent of it. And I feel like the worst mom on the planet for this. But they were using food as a consequence. And I did know that he was not being given the full menu due to his behavior choices there, but I did not realize the extent. And so he would not follow directions. He would talk back, be disrespectful, not stay in his seat, not get his schoolwork done, just all kinds of stuff that he was doing. And none of it was particularly bad. I mean, there was no violence with him. I think he did get hit one time, but he did not hit anyone else. So he was the victim. Now, he provoked it, I have no doubt, but he did not actually he was not the perpetrator of any violence. But he was being given peanut butter sandwiches and grits. That was his full diet. And I was told that this was going on, but I did not realize the extent of it because I was being told, well, that's his diet some. Like I was thinking that was occasionally happening as a consequence. But no, it was happening day after day after day. And my son is not like me. He is not overweight. And he was very thin when he got there. And by the time he got kicked out, he had lost 15 pounds. At the time, my son was 15 years old. And he had his jeans were 29-inch waist jeans. And when I went to pick him up, they were falling off of him. They were so big on him. And he had lost 15 pounds, like I said. And this child, oh, it was awful. It was so awful. And when I picked him up, he admitted to me that he had been stealing food. And I was like, I mean, I don't condone stealing at all. But I'm like, gosh, I don't know that I wouldn't have done the same thing if I was starving. I mean, good grief, hungry people try to eat. I felt horrible. I had no idea. And so my thing is if you have a child that you have to send away, and I had to find him another place. I mean, because he still wasn't safe to come home. But if you have to send a child somewhere and you feel like there's red flags, and there were other things too. They were restricting our phone access to him. They were, oh, they would not give him his medication because they didn't believe in it. They said that Jesus was going to heal him, and I do believe that Jesus can heal anybody that Jesus wants to heal. But I also don't believe that that means that Jesus is going to choose to heal my son or anybody else. Jesus is going to choose to heal whomever Jesus wants to choose to heal when and if he chooses to. I'm prime example. I lost my father to cancer. That doesn't mean that I didn't pray enough. Doesn't mean my mom didn't pray enough, or that my friends and family, that we didn't pray enough. It means that it was my dad's time to go. I just don't think that we are going to understand God's ways while we're here on earth. His ways are not our ways. The Bible is very clear about that. And so for, the director to tell me that Jesus is going to heal my son, and that's the end of it. I mean, that means that he does not understand mental illness. And so I think that we have to be careful when there's not enough staff. If it's run by a family and that's all that's there, I think we need to be careful. This small group of people, which just happened to have some very strong fundamentalist Baptist group of beliefs, was very strong, and they just didn't accept outside thought. He did when they left. When we picked him up, he said, I believe your son does need medicine. You think? That's what the psychiatrist believes too. Which I told you when my son got here, that my son needed medicine. And he finally agreed when my son left that he did need medicine. He also wanted to transfer my son from his facility to somebody else's facility into a boot camp type setting. And I said, no. I will come pick up my son and I will choose his next location. I'm not going to leave it to someone else to pick where my son goes next. Are you kidding me? That doesn't make any sense at all. Why would I do that? Why would I leave it to someone else to decide what is best for my son? I can barely decide and figure out what's best for my son. That is a very difficult process, and I have to consult with my friends and family and spend a lot of time researching and talking to people on the phone to figure out what to do, because it is so hard to figure out what to do next in this nightmare that we're living in. It is so hard to figure out what to do next. How can this man who had known my son for 8 months possibly know what is the best thing to do with him next? There's no way he could know that. It just happens to be a boot camp with his buddy down the road, a couple hours down the road? I don't think so. So beware. If somebody, if something seems off kilter, trust your gut. Trust it quicker than I did. When my son finally did get kicked out, he hadn't actually done anything. Nothing had been done. The man simply said, he's just acting the way he did when he got here. Well, what a shock. He hadn't changed any. Of course he hasn't. You haven't done anything except starve the child. So I just wanted to share with you guys the link that does have a lot of places that are options for you. And I also wanted to let you know, trust your gut. If something doesn't seem right, don't wait around. Just don't wait around. Anyway, please, if you have any questions or comments, please leave a comment for me and I will respond as quick as I can. And I will share another story with you next time. I appreciate you guys. Have a good day.